Hello friends, today in this video lecture we will discuss about the additional features of ER model. So let's start with the additional features of ER model. First one is the key constraints, participation constraints, weak entities, class hierarchies and the aggregations. These are the additional features of ER model. We will discuss these features one by one. So start with the constraints. What is the constraints? Right? Constraints are the rule enforced on the data columns or a table. Means some kind of rules we apply on the column or a table. Database is nothing but the columns and rows. So we will apply some constraints or a rule on a column of the table, right? These are used to limit the type of data that can be go into the table. Means using these constraints we can decide the which type of data will be insert in a column or a database in a table, right? This ensure the accuracy and reliability of the data in a database. Indirectly, constraint provides the accuracy. Means name should be in a character type, right? They are should be alphabets and roll number should be a numbers. Okay, these types of accuracy and reliability will be provided by the constraints. Okay, constraint could be either on a column level or a table level. The column level constraints are applied only to one column, whereas the table level constraints are applied to the whole table. It means we can apply the constraints on a column, single column or a whole table, right? Okay. Now the key constraints. Keys are entity set that are used to identify an entity within its entity set uniquely. Means any table contains number of keys. Okay, using one key we can identify the database. Okay, an entity set have multiple keys, but out of which one key will be the primary key. The primary key can contains a unique and null value in the relational table, right? In the relational table. Example shows a table containing ID, name, semester and age. Here ID is a primary key because each student or a name contains a unique ID, right? If we insert, if we apply the primary key as an ID, then it is not allowed for the duplication shown in the figure 1002 and 1002, right? It will be not allowed to insert again 102 in a same database, right? This will be provided by the primary key. There are two types of constraints, primary key constraints and the foreign key constraints, right? Primary key uniquely identify each record in a table. It must have unique values and cannot contain null values. Means blank field is not allowed to insert in a database, right? Okay, and unique values must be there. Okay, example, the roll number field is marked as primary key. That means the roll number field cannot have duplicate and null value. Means user must insert a value in a roll number, right? And it must be a unique, right? Okay. Now next is the foreign key. Foreign key are the columns of a table that point to the primary key of another table. They act as a cross reference between tables. Means foreign key acts as a simple key in a one table and the primary key in another table, right? That is known as the foreign key constraint, right? Okay. Now next, participation constraint. In a participation constraint specify the existence of an entity when it is related to another entity in the relationship type. It is also called minimum cardinality constraint. This constraint specify the number of instances of an entity that can be participate in a relationship type. right? Got it all of you? Participation constant means a participation constant specify the existence of an entity when it is related to another entity, right? If any relationship is formed between the two tables, means two database, right? Okay. There are two types of participation constant. Number one, total participation. In a total participation, each entity in the entity set is involved in at least one relationship in a relationship set. That is, the number of relationship in every entity is involved is greater than 0. Right? Figure shows here what is the relationship? Relationship is shown in a diamond. Works for, right? Employee and the department are the entities, right? Here consider two entities, employee and department, related via work for relationship. What is the relation between these two entities? Is a work shown in a diamond, right? Now every employee work in at least one department. Therefore an employee entity exists if it has at least one work for relationship, right? Work for relationship with department entity. Thus, the participation of employee in a work for is a total relationship, right? Means every employee work for each department, right? That is known as the total participation. Got it all of you? Now next is the partial participation, right? Each entity in an entity set may be or may not occur in at least one relationship in a relationship set. For example, consider two entities, employee and the department. Employee and the department, right? And what is the relationship? Manages. Manages is the relationship between these two entities, right? Consider two entities, employee and department, and they are related to each other via managers relationship. Okay, as shown in figure. An employee must manage a department. He or she could be the head of the department. Okay, but not every employee in a company manages the department. Got it all of you? Okay, so participation of employee in the managers relationship type is a partial. How? That is, only one particular set of employee will manage the department, but not all. Means in employee there are many employers, right? But out of that all employees, only some employees will manage the department. So it is known as the partial participation. Got it all of you? What is the participation? Okay, now we will discuss the weak entity, right? Weak entity. The entity type should have a key attribute which uniquely identify each entity in the entity set. That is nothing but the primary key. Okay, but there exists some entity type for which key attribute cannot be defined. This type of entity called as the weak entity type. Means the weak entity does not contain the primary key. We can also say that the entity set which do not have sufficient attribute to form a primary key, right? Primary key are known as the weak entity set. Are known as the weak entity set, right? Got it all of you? Okay. In the previous lecture, we already discussed the strong entity and the weak entity set, right? As a weak entity do not have any primary key. They cannot be identified on their own. So they depend on the some other entity, right? Known as the owner entity, right? The weak entities have total participation constants in its identify relationship with owner identity, right? In this diagram, weak entity are represented with the double rectangular box. In the ER diagram, okay, in this ER diagram, the weak entities are represented by double rectangular box shown like a loan, right? Loan is a weak entity. Okay, and the identifying relationships are presented with double diamond, means a weak entity having a relationship with another entity, right? That is the strong entity shown in figure, right? But this relationship is shown by the double diamond, double line diamond, right? Shown in a figure. Partial key attributes are represented with dotted lines, right? Represented with dotted line shown in this figure. This is the all about the weak entities, right? What is the weak entities? Weak entities does not contains the primary key. And what is about the strong? Strong is contains the primary key, means the entity which can identify uniquely, that is known as the strong entity, right? Here the loan is the weak entity and the customer is the strong entity, and the relationship between these, right, borrow, is shown in a double rectangle because the strong entity is connected with the loan. Loan is a weak entity, so it is shown in a double rectangular box, right? Got it all of you? What is the key entities? Now class hierarchies. Class hierarchy can be used in a two ways. First is the generalization and second one is the specialization. Okay, now we'll discuss first generalization. Generalization is a bottom-up approach in which two lower level entities combine to form a higher level entities. Means lower level entities combine with each other and form the one entity, that is the upper level entity shown in the figure. That is the saving and current are two types of accounts and they form the account, right? They form the account. Okay. In generalization, the higher level entity can also combine with the two lower level entities to make further higher level entities, right? It's more like superclass and the subclass system, but the only difference is the approach, which is a bottom up. Hence, the entities are combined to form more generalized entities. In other words, right? Subclasses are combined to form a superclass, right? Got it all of you? Shown in the figure. For example, saving and current account type entities can be generalized and an entity with the name account can be created, which over covers the both, right? Means account contains the saving type or a current type. So saving type entity and the current type entity form the one entity that is known as the account, right? Now we will discuss about the specialization, right? Specialization hierarchy is opposite to generalization, right? It is a top-down approach in which one higher level entity can be broken down into two level entities shown in the figures. In specialization, a higher level entity may not have any lower level entity set. It's possible, right? That is known as the specialization hierarchies, right? Got it? Got you all of you? Okay. Now next point is aggregation, right? Its name suggests aggregation, right? Aggregation is the process when relational when relation between two entities is treated as a single entity. Is treated as a single entity, means the relation of two entities treated as a single entities. Figure shows, right? In the figure there are three entities: center, course and visitor. But center and course connected with each other using the relationship offer, and these two entities considered as a single entity and having a relationship inquire to the visitor entities, right? In the diagram, the relationship between center and course together is acting as an entity, means center and course act as a single entity, which is a relationship with another entity, visitor, right? Shown in the diagram. Let's see. Okay. Now the real world, if a visitor or a student visit the coaching center, she or he will never inquire about the center only or just about the course. Rather, she or he will ask inquire about the both, right? Inquiring about the both. So here the center and course act as a single entity, right? And connected with the relationship with the visitor entity, right? All of you. In in this video we will discuss all key constraint, partial constraints, right? Hierarchies, okay, and the aggregations. All these things we will discuss in this video, right? Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much.